Good afternoon. 11 fourth-round ties in the FA Cup, sponsored by Eon, are drawing to a close, as are the league games on today's fixture list. Goals scored in the minutes to come could prove to be priceless. Here in the Final Score studio, Les Ferdinand, Gary Pallister and Garth Crooks are paying close attention to the Cup games. One result already in, Mansfield 0, Middlesbrough 2. More details to that to come after we've heard on the matches still in progress. First of all, to Anfield. Liverpool against Havant and Waterlooville. Richard Askham, what a game.
What a game, Ray. Liverpool 4, Havant and Waterlooville 2. But the shock of all shocks doesn't look as though it's going to happen. Liverpool have stepped on the gas this half, scoring twice through Benayoun. But make no mistake, the team of builders and bin men have pushed them hard, particularly in an incredible first half where Havant twice took the lead through Paquette and Potter. Lucas and Benayoun were the equalisers for Liverpool, but this has been far from easy for Rafa's men.
The first 45 minutes was quite incredible for Havant and Waterlooville.
If I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it. It was the most extraordinary 40 minutes I think I've ever seen.
Liverpool just couldn't cope in the first half.
No, got to give the credit to Waterlooville. The footballer played belied the position they're actually in the league.
And what would you remember from that first half, Les?
I think them scoring their first goal, Havant scoring the first goal, and seeing that kid crying his eyes out because he couldn't believe that they'd scored at Anfield, I think that was it for me.
Havant and Waterlooville scored, Liverpool equalised, they went ahead again. It was quite incredible. At the Emirates, Arsenal playing Newcastle. The question was, against the odds, could Kevin Keegan lead Newcastle on a spectacular cup run? David Garrido reporting.
And the answer seems like no, Ray. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. Really worth checking out Emmanuel Adebayor's finish for his 17th of the season to give the Gunners the lead. Left-footed with 4 Newcastle defenders closing in on him and dispatched so calmly into the corner to give Shay Given no chance. Newcastle threatened down the flanks in the first half, especially through Damien Duff, but really haven't done too much since the goal. They've lost their fears, and it looks like a bit of a false start for the Kevin Keegan rollercoaster. But of course, he can have another go at getting it started in 3 days' time when they return to the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0.
Here's a shock result. Derby against Preston. Andrew James.
Yes, Derby 1, Preston 3, and Preston fully deserving of it, Ray. They were 3-0 up by half-time. 2 goals from Carl Hawley, 1 from Simon Whaley, and Derby had made 3 substitutions by the start of the second half. They did get a goal back, the first in Derby colours for Rob Earnshaw, but since then Preston have had 2 more good chances, 1 for Morwenny and would have been an own goal by Stephen Pearson that went on the bar. It could have been 5 to Preston. It's 3, it's Derby 1, Preston 3.
The Battle of the Dockyards, it was said. The football clubs of 2 naval towns hoping to navigate their way into the 5th round. Andy Barwell is watching the Portsmouth-Plymouth tie.
And a game still in the balance at Fratton Park. Plymouth making a tremendous start. Chris Clark on his debut for the club after a move from Aberdeen. He opened the scoring, his shot aided by a huge deflection. French international Lassana Diarra levelled it up for Portsmouth. Nico Kranchar got the home side in front on the stroke of half-time. It's been another rather stuttering performance from the Premier League side in the second half. Moments ago, Plymouth thought that they'd been handballed by Sylvain Distin in the penalty area. Not given by the referee. It's Portsmouth 2, it's Plymouth 1.
Another goal at the Emirates. David Garrido reporting.
Yeah, this one's done and dusted, Ray. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0. The Gunners were coasting after Emmanuel Adebayor's opener, only for the Togo international to skip past 2 Newcastle players, David Rosenthal and Kashapa. Just seemed nowhere near, and then took his time before pushing a shot past Shay Given. Stephen Taylor on the line, tried to clear, but to no avail. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0, and the Gunners are going through to round 5.
Kevin Keegan isn't going to inspire a cup run, it seems, Garth?
No, he doesn't. I mean, after the defeat to Spurs and midweek, Arsenal have recovered because I thought that maybe their team spirit had been somewhat shattered with what I saw, but they've recovered well.
Any encouraging signs from Newcastle, Les?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the first half performance, the way they went about their football, I think the supporters will be pretty pleased with the way they went about their football, but he needs to strengthen.
Adebayor is a top player, Gary.
Yeah, it gives him different options to Thierry Henry. He's strong in the air, he's powerful, he's a great shot, and he can beat people.
League 2 Peterborough hoping for promotion and a cup run. So are Championship leaders West Bromwich Albion. Steve Sutton's watching this game.
Yes, realistically, Ray, only promotion on the Peterborough agenda now. They trail by 3 goals to 0, and when it's really mattered, Championship class has shone through for West Brom. Bednar and Corren with their first half goals gave them a 2-0 lead. Kevin Phillips from the penalty spot in the second half made it 3. Craig Morgan was sent off for the foul on Jonathan Greening that led to that penalty. West Brom now seeing out time.
and through to the last 16 of the Cup. Having knocked out Premier League opponents in round 3, League One Oldham and Huddersfield didn't get the big payday, but one of them is going to qualify for the 5th round. Who's it going to be? Mark Bishop.
I think it's going to be Huddersfield, Ray. Oldham 0, Huddersfield 1. Andy Ritchie, would you believe, used to give John Sheridan lifts in his car when he was Latics manager before Sheridan passed his test as a player at Oldham. But it's been Huddersfield in the driving seat this afternoon in a full-blooded cup tie. Luke Beckett's early close-range strike gave 4,600 Huddersfield fans plenty to cheer about. Oldham have never really got into this game since then. And as the clock ticks down, it's Oldham 0, Huddersfield Town 1.
League Two Barnet have never reached the 5th round of the Cup. They're playing League One Bristol Rovers, who knocked Fulham out in midweek. Steve Lee reporting.
Yes, Barnet 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Well, that Barnet record, unenviable over the years. It doesn't look like it's going to happen today. But they have themselves to blame, really. They missed a penalty early on through Jason Punchin after 3 minutes, and that allowed Bristol Rovers back into the game, and they look like they've earned a passage to the 5th round with a Ricky Lambert header from David Pipe's cross 4 minutes after half-time. Grazioli's come on for Barnet. He's given them a few interesting moments. A couple of moments ago he had a header that was just scrambled close away, but at the moment it's Barnet 0, Bristol Rovers 1.
In League One, Port Vale, bottom of the table, playing second bottom Bournemouth. This could be a cruel result for Port Vale, could leave them double figures points away from safety. At least 8 clubs from outside the Premier League are going to play in the 5th round. Coventry or Millwall, one of that group. Alan Biggs will tell us which of the two it's more likely to be.
Well, you can't tell that yet, Ray, because Gary Alexander of Millwall has just wasted a great chance of an equaliser. It remains Coventry 2, Millwall 1. Most of the credit going to the League One side. Coventry relying on a disputed second-half goal from Michael Mifsud, the hero of the last round win at Blackburn, his 16th of the season today, after Millwall's keeper Evans clearly felt he'd been fouled in the build-up by Elliott Ward. Jay Simpson scored Millwall's first-half equaliser. Clever footwork and a fine finish from the youngster on loan from Arsenal. This after Stephen Hughes' free kick had put Coventry ahead. Millwall still in this. It's a good tie. It's Coventry 2, Millwall 1.
Havant and Waterlooville so very nearly made it 4-3. News now of the All Championship match between Watford and Wolves. Carrie Davis.
It's Watford 1, Wolves 3. Another disappointing home performance for the Watford fans. John Joe O'Toole pulled one back after 70 minutes. A bit of a melee in front of Wayne Hennessy's goal. But Jay Bothra tapped in from close range. And Stephen Elliott, after a lovely break from Matt Jarvis down the left, he squared it to Elliott, who tapped it in. He was completely unmarked. Obviously, Andy Keogh put Wolves in front after just 5 minutes. But Wolves looking for their first win over Watford in 9 games. They lead 3-1.
Another goal at the Emirates. Let's hear from David Garrido.
It's turning into a rout here, Ray. Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0. Ball delivered in, free kick from the left-hand side from Cesc Fabregas. Beautifully curled in. Eduardo again with Newcastle defenders around him. The marking was just terrible. Nicky Butt and Stephen Taylor again at fault. Eduardo just nodding it past Shay Given, rooted to his spot. Arsenal 3 now, Newcastle 0.
Rangers going 7 points clear at the top of the SPL, beating St Mirren by 4-0. That's the final whistle has gone at Ibrox. Well done, Preston, but well done, Havant and Waterlooville. We just have to keep coming back to this performance, Garth.
And they are still playing like a team that is enjoying every second of it. The first 40 minutes was sensational. They frightened the life out of Liverpool, and Liverpool had to work very hard to recover.
Doesn't this encapsulate everything that's good about the FA Cup? 123 places below their Premier League opponents, and Havant and Waterlooville have just given it their best shot, and they led twice at Anfield.
You know, what these boys would have seen today was an opportunity to put themselves in the shop window. The manager would have said to them, and I'm sure he did, because the way they've gone out and performed, he said to them, you can come here today and defend for 90 minutes, or you can go out, enjoy it, and see what you get out of it. And that's exactly what they've done, and it's been impressive to watch today.
Another goal in the Watford-Wolves FA Cup tie. Carrie Davis.
I can tell you Watford have completely given up. Wolves lead now by 4-1 here at Vicarage Road. Andy Keogh with his second of the night. He was completely unmarked, and he just toe-footed it past Richard Lee. Watford have given up.
Well played, Wolves. Derby against Preston. Andrew James, developments.
Yes, Ray, it's Derby 1, Preston 3, but Preston are about to take a penalty kick. Neil Mellor is the man that will take the penalty kick. He's only just come on as a sub. He was brought down by youngster Lewin Nyatanga of Derby County, who received a straight red from Lee Probert for that challenge. So Neil Mellor to get a 4th goal for Preston, and he does. It's Derby 1, Preston 4.
That's a great result for Preston North End, winning away at Derby. Another goal at Anfield. Richard Askham.
Yeah, it's gone to Liverpool, Ray. Liverpool 5, Haventon Waterlooville 2. Peter Crouch tapping in after excellent work from Stephen Gerrard. He laid it on a plate for him, really, but the non-league side just won't lie down. They have had chances, as you've mentioned. They were holding their own before then, but now they're down and out, and it's Liverpool 5, Haventon Waterlooville 2.
The scoreline doesn't tell the story. More details now in the fourth round tie played at lunchtime. League 2 Mansfield play Premier League Middlesbrough. 78 league places between the teams. Steve Wilson watched the game.
Middlesbrough through, but the credit all goes to Mansfield, who may be 91st in the Football League, but who are unlucky to go out. Michael Boulding hitting the bar with a great first half effort and then seeing a header saved by Schwarzer seconds later. Lee Dong-gook had given Borough an early lead from a poorly defended corner, but for long periods they were hanging on before, with just 3 minutes to go, they got a second on the break. Mansfield's captain Jake Buxton unlucky to score an own goal, trying to cut out a cross which Downing was about to convert. It finished Mansfield 0, Middlesbrough 2.
Middlesbrough through to the last 16 of the Cup 1. Barclays Premier League match being played this afternoon. Aston Villa against Blackburn. Steve May.
And we're into the last minute here, Ray. It's 1-1. Scott Carson saving Matt Derbyshire's penalty in the only notable incident of the first half. Blackburn taking the lead through Santa Cruz's 15th of the season, turning it after Carson had initially blocked an effort from Dunn. Then an amazing direct free kick from Ashley Young, equalising, bending it into the far corner, all under the eye of Fabio Capello, who of course has his first England game the week after next. 1-1.
In the SPL, Dundee United in third place have won away at Kilmarnock. Let's hear about Rangers extending their lead at the top of the table to 7 points. Ian Turner.
Yes, Walter Smith's side extend their lead at the top. The job done thanks to goals in quick succession from Burke, Boyd and Whittaker, who thundered home his second late on. Saints played the last hour with 10 men. Will Haining guilty of 2 innocuous bookable offences. 1 to forget for the Saints and the Sinner. Rangers 4, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, full-time whistle starting to go around the country. We've had quite a few FA Cup ties drawing to a conclusion as we speak. Let's go to Pride Park. Andrew James, great result for Preston.
Terrific result for Preston, Ray. Derby 1, Preston 4. 2 goals for Carl Hawley, 1 for Simon Whaley, and that late penalty for Neil Mellor, which resulted in a straight red for Lewin Nyatanga. Derby's goal from Rob Earnshaw, his first goal for the club. But Derby were 3-0 down at half-time. They made 3 substitutions before the kick-off of the second half, and with a multi-million-pound takeover by American owners on Monday, who want to turn the name of Derby County into a world brand, at the moment they've got to stop Derby County becoming a laughingstock. Derby County 1, Preston 4.
Full-time whistle has gone in the Barnet Bristol Rovers tie. Steve Lee.
Yes, Barnet 0, Bristol Rovers 1. The Barnet players and manager applauding their fans, and 5,000 jammed into Underhill, but there was no history in the making for Barnet today. The Hertfordshire club have never made it to the 5th round, and Rovers made sure that record continued. Jason Punchin missed an early penalty for Barnet, and that really knocked the stuffing out of them, and Rovers made them pay. Ricky Lambert nipping in with a diving header 4 minutes after the break to put them into the 5th round. Barnet 0, Bristol Rovers 1.
To Anfield, all over, but congratulations Havant and Waterlooville. 123 places below Liverpool, but they gave it their best shot. Richard Askin.
They did indeed, Ray. They're getting a standing ovation. Liverpool 5, Haventon Waterlooville 2. No fairy tale ending to the story of the round, but the non-league side for 45 minutes at least really pushed their moneyed opponents. Twice they took the lead in the first half through Paquette and Potter, who really shone, but goals from Lucas and Benayoun sent Liverpool in level at the break, and after that the home side's class did tell. Benayoun with excellent finishes grabbing his hat-trick, Peter Crouch a tap-in. For the Havs of Liverpool, a sketchy performance. For the Havants of Hampshire, a day they'll never forget.
From Anfield to the Emirates, no fairy tale trip to Wembley for Newcastle under Kevin Keegan. David Garrido.
Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0, and how Arsene Wenger must be pleased. Togo aren't in the Africa Cup of Nations. Emmanuel Adebayor taking his tally for the season to 18. The first, a classy left-footed finish after Eduardo struck a post. The second, a sublime piece of skill to get past David Rosenau and Claudia Kashapa before beating Shea Given again, this time right-footed. The third, adjudged a Nicky Butt own goal under pressure from Eduardo, so not quite the return to FA Cup football Kevin Keegan would have wished for, but it's now 23 matches unbeaten for Arsenal at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0.
To Fratton Park, Battle of the Dockyards. Portsmouth have won and gone through to the next round of the Cup. Andy Barwell.
Portsmouth hadn't been in the last 16 for the past 4 years. They're through to the 5th round this time, though, thanks to a 2-1 win. Uncomfortable at times here, especially after Plymouth's excellent start through Chris Clark. Portsmouth level through Lasana Diarra, starting to pay off a slice of that £5 million transfer fee. Nico Kranjčar took advantage of a defensive mistake by the Championship side. In the end, Portsmouth came out on top in the clash between these two famous naval cities. Full-time, Portsmouth 2, Plymouth 1.
A 4th round extra for the last 4 years for Wolves, and not this season. Carrie Davis.
It finished Watford 1, Wolves 4. Andy Keogh put Wolves in front in the opening 5 minutes. A route 1 approach from Wayne Hennessy, the keeper. He toe-poked it over Richard Lee with his lovely orange boots. In the second half, Stephen Elliott extended Wolves' lead. There was a break down the left from the pacey Matt Jarvis. He squared it to the winger, who slipped it home. Jay Bothroyd made it 3-0 to Wolves, drilling home from close range when he was completely unmarked. Again, Jarvis involved in the build-up. John Joe O'Toole pulled one back on 70 minutes for Watford, but it was far too little, far too late. The Wolves fans going home happy.
It went to form in the Peterborough-West Bromwich Albion tie. Steve Sutton.
Yes, it did, Ray. Peterborough 0, West Brom 3, 52 league places between them, and it showed in the end. 3 moments where West Brom had the measure of Peterborough. Goals from Bednar and Karen in the first half effectively sealed the tie. Then in the second half, Kevin Phillips converted from the penalty spot after Jonathan Greening was brought down and Craig Morgan was sent off. Peterborough had their moment. They concentrate on promotion from League 2 now, but West Brom march on.
League matches drawn to conclusion. Tranmere Rovers have beaten Yeovil by 2-1. And Oldham against Huddersfield this afternoon in the FA Cup. Let's hear from Mark Bishop about this cup tie.
Oldham 0, Huddersfield 1. Andy Ritchie got to 2 FA Cup semi-finals as a player with Oldham, and he's taken his hard-working Huddersfield side into the last 16. A terrific high-octane performance in this M62 derby in front of a capacity crowd of nearly 13,000. Luke Beckett's early close-range strike gave the visitors all the incentive they needed to take control of this full-blooded cup tie. Oldham never really threatened, although Glennon made a wonderful save to deny Dean Smalley. It's Huddersfield through because they've won by 1-0 at Boundary Park.
Precious places in the last 16 of the FA Cup at stake at the Ricoh Arena. Coventry play Millwall, watched by Alan Biggs.
It's finished Coventry 2, Millwall 1. Coventry have survived a considerable scare here, but a strong finish it's been from Ian Dowy's side, who led through Stephen Hughes' free kick and were pegged back by Jay Simpson before Michael Mifsford popped home what proved to be the winner, his 16th of the season. The Maltese maestro does it again after his heroics at Blackburn, but well played Millwall. Coventry 2, Millwall 1.
One Barclays Premier League game played this afternoon. Martin O'Neill and Mark Hughes have the handshake at the end of the Aston Villa-Blackburn game. Steve May reporting.
Yes, it finished 1-1 here, so Villa are now unbeaten in 8 matches, Rovers unbeaten in 6, so perhaps we should have expected this from the very beginning. Watch out for Ashley Young's direct free kick for Villa's equaliser on Match of the Day tonight. I know that Fabio Capello enjoyed it.
Well, all the results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgin to confer today's final scores.
Starting with the FA Cup, sponsored by Eon. Arsenal 3, Newcastle United 0. Barnet 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Coventry City 2, Millwall 1. Derby County 1, Preston North End 4. Liverpool 5, Havant Waterlooville 2. Mansfield Town 0, Middlesbrough 2. Oldham Athletic 0, Huddersfield Town 1. Peterborough United 0, West Bromwich Albion 3. Portsmouth 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Southampton 2, Bury 0. Watford 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4. Wigan Athletic and Chelsea kick off in a few minutes. In the Barclays Premier League, just the one, Aston Villa 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Coca-Cola Championship, Bristol City 1, Blackpool 0. Burnley 2, Scunthorpe United 0. Coca-Cola League 1, Crewe Alexandra 0, Swindon Town 0. Luton Town 1, Leeds United 1. Port Vale 1, Bournemouth 3. Tranmere Rovers 2, Yeovil Town 1. Walsall 2, Gillingham 1. In League 2, Chester City 0, Rotherham United 1. Darlington 2, Macclesfield Town 2. Grimsby Town 1, Shrewsbury Town 1 is a latest score. Lincoln City 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Milton Keynes Dons 0, Rochdale 1. Morecambe 1. Notts County 1. Wrexham 1. Bradford City 1. Wycombe Wanderers 1. Chesterfield 0. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 0. Hearts 1. Hibernian's match with Gretna postponed. Kilmarnock 1. Dundee United 2. A Motherwell's match with Inverness Caledonian Thistle postponed. Rangers 4. St Mirren 0.
One late kick-off in Coca-Cola League 2. Grimsby Town 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Not long to go till the game as far as Wigan and Chelsea gets going at the FA Cup. The holders Chelsea arrived in good time. Just to say now, we've got a quick opportunity now to take a look at the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, just one match. Aston Villa and Blackburn both climb a place after their 1-1 draw at Villa Park. Villa up to 5th, a point off the Champions League places. Blackburn are 8th. That's the situation in the Barclays Premier League. Elsewhere, if we can take a look at some of the other tables. In the Coca-Cola Championship, just 2 games played today. Bristol City back in the top 2 after beating Blackpool at Ashton Gate. Behind leaders West Bromwich Albion on goal difference only. Burnley up 2 places to 7th. They beat Scunthorpe 2-0. Quick look at the bottom. That defeat for Scunthorpe means they're still in trouble near the foot of the table. Now 1 off the bottom, 4 points from safety. Quick look at Coca-Cola League 1. Top 3 didn't play. Walsall, bottom of the table back in September, up to 4th following victory over Gillingham. Walsall now unbeaten in 16. Leeds missed the chance to go 2nd. Denied by Sam Parkin's last-minute equaliser at Luton, they stay 5th. Port Vale lost the basement battle against Bournemouth. Vale now 9 points from safety. Bournemouth clive above Luton, who got that draw against Leeds. Situation in League 2 after today's games. Leaders MK Dons wobbling after a 3rd straight defeat. They lost 1-0 to Rochdale, who played most of the game with 10 men. Rotherham's win at Chester cut the gap to 4 points, while 3rd place Darlington were held by Macclesfield. Wrexham's draw with Bradford means they missed the chance to move off the bottom. Mansfield, beaten by Borough in the Cup today, remain in the relegation zone, while Lincoln got a vital win against Dagenham and Redbridge. Situation in the SPL. Rangers made it 7 wins in a row, beating St Mirren 4-0 to go 7 points clear at the top. Second place Celtic visit Falkirk tomorrow, while Aberdeen were beaten at home by Hearts. Kilmarnock remained second bottom after losing to Dundee United, while the matches between Hibs and Gretna plus Motherwell and Inverness were postponed. That's the situation as far as the league tables are concerned. There's today's FA Cup headlines. Incredible scenes at Anfield as non-league Havant and Waterlooville lead twice. But Ben Ayoun's hat-trick puts Liverpool through. Quite incredible. Adebayor's double takes Arsenal through against Keegan's Newcastle. That's 18 goals for the Togo striker this season. Shock result of the day comes at Pride Park. It's a nightmare for Derby as Preston score 3 in the first half and go on to win 4-1. And in the Premier League, Ashley Young's free kick gives Villa a point against Blackburn in front of watching England manager Fabio Capello. Aston Villa won, Birmingham won the final score, and there's quite a few scenes as far as the matches are concerned today. We've had terrific entertainment throughout all the cup games. Just to say, all the games from all the goals in tonight's Match of the Day, FA Cup action and Premier League action, which starts at 10:25. Well, quite an afternoon, Garth. We have to say, just well done, well done, well done, Havant and Waterlooville.
That, for me, was one of the best 45 minutes of football I've seen for a non-league side for many a year. At the end of the game, I wanted to join in the round of applause and standing ovation myself. Every Liverpool player that was on the pitch gave Havant and Waterlooville player their shirt, and the best compliment they could have been paid was for Steven Gerrard to be brought on to the Liverpool side and Jamie Carragher to share in the celebrations. It was a fantastic afternoon of football for me.
When Havant and Waterlooville scored the opening goal and you saw their supporters crying inside Anfield, it just encapsulated everything that was great about the FA Cup.
It did. You know, you saw that little boy pictures pan to this little boy. He's crying his eyes out and he's looking at people saying, "We just scored at Anfield. I couldn't believe it. We just scored at Anfield." He's crying his eyes out, and it just, you know, the manager said, "Just give of your best. That's all I can ask of you, and let's see what happens." And that's exactly what they did. And for a long time, they gave Liverpool a great run for their money.
The fact that Havant and Waterlooville scored, then Liverpool equalised. The fact that Havant and Waterlooville then scored again and went to a 2-1 lead, and Liverpool were rocking at that stage.
At that stage, as I said, they looked like rabbits caught in a headlight. They were shocked, they were stunned, they couldn't pass the ball, they looked all at sea. You're looking at pictures of Rafa Benitez on the sideline. He looked bemused by what was going on. He was shouting and screaming, and he wasn't really getting anything from them. If they held out at half-time, who knows what could have happened. If they went in 2-1, it would have given something to hold on in the second half, but the legs eventually went from under him, and it cost him in the end.
Do you feel Newcastle fans were dreaming that Kevin Keegan's return would mean that the club would sort of find this spirited cup run and suddenly go all the way to Wembley? Rude awakening, because Arsenal were decent winners today.
I think that Newcastle fans are thinking all sorts because Keegan's come back, and there's a dose of reality coming into the situation at the moment. I thought for 60 minutes, Newcastle gave as good as they got. They could have gone ahead, but it was, again, a spirited performance by Adebayor, who I think could be a great player if he brings his temperament under control.
We have to say well done, Preston, in terms of shock results today. Going to Premier League Derby County and winning by so many goals.
Paul Gill must be banging his head against the dressing room wall in there, because again it's defending from there. Yes, give credit. I mean, Preston did exceptionally well considering the position they're in the league. But Les called it at the start of the day. Could see a shock turning up there, and that's what happened. Suicidal defending yet again, which we'll probably hear from Paul saying exactly the same. And 4-1 at home. It's just embarrassing, really.
Middlesbrough have gone through, Portsmouth have gone through. It's opening up. There's not going to be a lot of top-flight teams in the last 16.
No, there won't be, and the teams that are left in this competition will be looking at it and thinking, "Cool, we got a great chance of getting all the way to the final." Not saying they'll win it, but they got a great chance of getting there.
Can you imagine the scenes at the moment in the Havant and Waterlooville dressing room, and the way the party they'll have on the way home, despite going out of the cup?
It'll be one of euphoria, celebration. They deserve all of that. But the FA Cup is alive, the dreams are still alive, but remember, Liverpool, Arsenal, probably Manchester United or Spurs, probably Chelsea are still in the FA Cup. Still a great competition.
They'll be very proud of themselves, Ray, because they put in a performance today that everyone sat up and gone, "Cool, there's still life in non-league football."
Just to say, just about time to go here, but plenty coming up as far as the red button is concerned. Press the red button now for Tuesday and Wednesday. There are plenty of games coming up as far as score is concerned. Just to say, if you press the red button now, you can stay with us here in the Final Score studio. More reaction coming up till 6 o'clock.